You're going to start with your hands by your side, your knees bent, and your feet flat on the floor. So just get yourself comfortable, knees pointing upwards towards the ceiling. And we're going to start the session with just a moment of stillness and observation of how you're feeling in your body today. So we might start from our feet. Just think about your feet spreading nice and wide. Think about your big toe, your little toe, and the heel, making contact with your mat. And I want you to just acknowledge the arch of your foot, the gentle curve underneath your foot. Now I want you to notice the space between your foot and the ground or your mat, where the arch of your foot is. And you might notice a difference from right to left, that's fine. Just observing, noticing. And then as we come up to the ankles, I want you to notice the lower legs. How do your ankles feel? Are you gripping? Are they soft? Are your feet in the same alignment, or have you got one foot forward? Are your feet turning out or turning in? And what we're looking for from the feet is to have our feet parallel and in line with our hip sockets. So our hip sockets are just in the deepest crease when our knees are bent, the deepest crease at the front of the pelvis. So they're normally narrower than most people tend to realize. And this is where we want our alignment through our heels, from our hip sockets to the heels. And then we want to allow our knees to stay pointing directly upwards. They're not falling out or in. And we've got a comfortable sort of angle of our thigh bone coming into the hip socket. We don't want to have our feet too far away. We don't want to have our feet too close so it's jamming into there. So whatever feels comfortable to you, but it's worth considering where that is and play around with the different distances to find what works for you. So once we've established or become aware of the alignment of our lower limbs, we bring our awareness to the pelvis. And the pelvis, we want it to be centered. So you might notice by your natural default, you might go more into a posterior tilt where your back feels more flat against the mat. You might feel that one hip is slightly higher than the other. And what we're looking for is we're looking for it to be more centered. So when the pelvis is centered, all the muscular tissue and tendons and ligaments, they have a more even tone to them. Okay, if I'm off center, some muscles will be working harder than others, some will be in higher tension than others. So it's important that we start to find that place where we're more evenly balanced through the body, so that our bones are better organized and ready to move in any direction necessary, or whichever direction we need to, according to what we're trying to achieve. So you've got two hip bones or pelvic bones at the front and your pubic bone sitting on the similar level. Yeah, so we don't want the pubic bone higher. We don't want the pelvic bones higher. We want them to be more even. As if there was a marble on the middle of your tummy, it would sit in the center. And then we want to think about the spine. So you may notice that when your pelvis is centered, although it may not feel familiar, when you do center your pelvis, you might feel a sense of space, or we will feel a sense of space under the lower back. And for some, that space might be bigger than others. So just notice, can you observe that space between your lower back and the mat when you place your pelvis in a more centered position? And then as you move up your lower back, we find the rib cage, and the back of our rib cage, we want it to be down on the mat. And sometimes when we have tension in the spinal muscles in the back, we tend to sort of see that the rib cage comes forward because the tension in the back is preventing us from getting the ribs to come back where they belong, in line with the pelvis. So I don't want you to necessarily pin your ribs down, because this might create more tension in the body, but just be aware of where your rib cage likes to sit, very similarly to what we did with the pelvis. And then I want you to think, can I just soften my ribs down if I'm not feeling them against the back of the mat? Am I able to just allow them to soften down? So your sternum, the bone at the front of your ribs, or front of your ribs in the center of your chest, is allowed to just soften. It's like a sigh. It's like and you sigh your breath out, and it just allows that sternum to come down and the back ribs to widen and come down onto the mat. From the ribs, we lengthen up through the back of the neck, and again, we have this space. Take your hand and just touch the back of your neck. Okay, because this is an area that I find most people really struggle with in terms of where your head needs to be in relation to the rest of your body. So if you can think about the curve in your lower back and the curve in your neck, ideally in terms of the pattern and how we move through the body in an ideal scenario, if my lower back arches, so will the arch in my neck. If my lower back flattens, so will the arch in my neck. So they kind of mirror each other. So when we're moving through the spine, they follow through each other. So if I tilt my pelvis, my back flattens, my ribs go down, and my neck will lengthen because my curve in my lower back is going, in my neck, is getting closer to the mat. So when we're lying in neutral, we don't want to be jamming the chin down, but we also want to avoid this position in the neck, because that's going to encourage this in your spine as well. So what our head's doing, is very important to what is messaging to the rest of your spine, and vice versa. So we need to consider the curve in the lower back. We need to consider the curve in the neck. And then I want you to just reach your arms out like they're limbs of a tree, reaching into the space at the side of you. I'd like you to think of relaxing your jaw. So your mouth can be closed, but your teeth apart. So you feel a softening in the jaw. The palms of your hands are just pointing down. Your shoulder blades at the back of your rib cage are wide across the back. And then just observe your breath for a moment. And I want you to encourage some really lovely deep breaths in. And so we breathe in for 4. Hold your breath for 4. Breathe out for 4. And hold for 4. When you breathe in, try to stay relaxed in your jaw and your shoulders, and breathe all the way down into your tummy. Hold, and then breathe out, and hold. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let all the breath out and pause. Breathing in. Pause. And breathing out. And pause. Breathe in one last time, expanding and breathing into the tummy if you can. And don't worry if you're struggling with that. It's something that we work on. Hold. And then breathe out. So this time when you breathe in, I want you to bring your left hand and bring it into the center of your body. Turn your head to the right. And when you breathe in, I want you to reach your arm behind you and just expose the gills at the side of your body. Lean into them, stretch. And then from your armpit, draw the arm back to your side as you exhale. Then the left right arm. Spiral, you turn away from the arm, and as you reach that arm back, open into the side of your body. And then draw the arm back to the side. And inhale, look away from the arm and open. Again, imagine the side of your rib expanding as you inhale. And then the out breath, bring it back. One more time, right arm, spiraling back, looking away from the arm and opening the side of your body. And bringing the arm back center. We're going to add the leg as well. So this time I slide my leg away as I reach. I'm going to try and keep my sternum soft, my jaw relaxed. And think about opening into the side. Imagine the thigh being pulled away from you. Then we draw the arm and leg back. So it's a wonderful, like a yawn in the morning, breathing in and lengthen and grow into that right side. And then coming back and into center. Send your right, left arm and leg back and open. And then come to center to soften. We breathe in, reach the arm, turn the head, yawn into your body. And then soften back to center. We're going to go opposite arm and leg now. So the left arm, your right leg, and you reach. And just be aware of this kind of diagonal across the front of your body. And then come back in to center. The other side, lengthen, reach, and think of that diagonal line across the body. And back to the center. One more time. The breath in as I yawn and I reach, lengthening. And from the armpit, I exhale my breath, center. And reach, breathing in, opening, reach, and out, come back to center. Keep your arms wide, keep your jaw relaxed, the softening in the back of the neck, the lower back, and let your left knee open out to the side. And then bring the knee back center. Open out the right knee. And center. So to begin with, I want us to try and do what we call hip dissociation. So as we open the knee, I want the pelvis, so those pelvic bones, they stay quiet. We're not letting the body roll. And just observe how your hip feels. Remember, the hip socket is here. So we're letting that ball joint roll in the socket. And then we close it. Notice what's happening in your feet as the knee opens. We're rolling onto the outside of the foot. And then as we close, we come back to a flat foot. We open out the left knee, rolling onto the outside of the foot. And the challenge initially is to keep those two pelvic bones level I'm not letting my pelvis move. I'm stabilizing. Then closing that knee and opening the knee. I really want to notice how I move into this side of the body to help me be more stable and center. Now, left knee opens this time. And then I want to let my whole pelvis rock to the left. So now I'm letting my pelvis go. Then I want to roll my pelvis back, then bring my left knee in. I open the right knee. I roll to the right, keeping my left knee pointing forwards and up. I'm then going to roll back into my left side, close my right knee. Opening the left, roll to the left, roll back to the right, and close the left. Again, right knee opened, then let the pelvis roll, but that knee stays forward, and I'm standing on that foot. Then I draw my pelvis back and my knee back. Adding on again, the knee open, I roll, I bring my right knee across, then I bring my right knee back and my left side back. Right knee opens, roll to the right. I roll back into my left side, close that right knee. Open the left, roll to the left. Roll back to the right and close the right. One more time to the right, right knee open and roll to the right. Roll down into the left and close. Now I want my left knee to open and then my right knee open. My pelvis is centered. I'm on the outside of my feet and they're in line with my hip socket. Sternum is soft, neck is long, and my pubic bones and hip bones are on the same level. I just would like you to take a few breaths in here. And when you breathe, I want you to inhale and allow your pelvic floor to lower. Please don't worry if you're not aware of that lowering sensation, but the pelvic floor and your abdomen expands. And when you breathe out, I want you to feel the gentle lift of your pelvic floor and let the breath out. The breath comes in, we expand the body. And this time when I breathe out, I want to use my inner thigh to close the knees and bring them back to center. I'm going to open out my right knee, open out my left knee, then both knees as I breathe out. I use my pelvic floor and inner thigh to bring them back center. The left knee opens, the right knee opens. I've still got a centered pelvis, a soft sternum, a relaxed jaw and shoulders. On my out breath, breathe out and I use my inner thighs and my deep core to bring my knees to center. Right knee opens, left knee opens, exhale and close those knees in. And now just staying in parallel, I want you to lift one foot up and down. Just lift. So what I want you to think about is this thigh coming in and then down, coming in and down. But when we do this, our aim is to maintain the position of your pelvis. What often happens is when that For some is when that knee comes in. If we've got limited movement in our hip, what we tend to do is just flatten into the back. So we get this movement, which is really all happening in my lower back, as opposed to this movement, which is happening in the hip socket. So that's how we're going to get better mobility of the hip and more stability of our lower back. So this is a really important fundamental understanding of the movement in the hip and pelvic, the relationship. So then we can do the other side. So you can alternate, or you can do one side and then the other. And so again, the leg comes up, but we don't want the back to flatten. And we want to bring the knee in as close as we can without the back flattening. So you can just be a little bit curious in how much movement do I have in my hip before my pelvis has to roll back. Now, just know that it's not wrong or bad to do this. This is more functional, but we need to feel and understand this hip dissociation within our own bodies, so we can control that movement in our hip, which is, again, a really important way or function of the hip socket in relation to the pelvis. So we can stabilize the pelvis whilst moving the hip or the thigh, and then place it down. So this time we're going to keep these thighs again still, and I'm going to roll my pelvis back and then forward. Exhale, roll the pelvis back. So you'll feel your lower back come down towards the mat. And at that point, I want you to feel that you're just relaxing your jaw and also encouraging the curve in your neck just to soften. What can sometimes happen is this, okay, which isn't such an efficient movement pattern. So just observe what your head likes to do. And if you find your chin is coming up, I just would like you to just consider sliding the base of your skull away. So rather than jamming the chin down, you just let the head kind of glide backwards as you tilt back and forwards with the pelvis. We breathe out and we breathe in. Breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out and you roll back, and I want you to just lift your tailbone off the mat and then roll back down again. Again, rolling back on your out breath, lifting into your lower back, and then roll your spine back down. And exhale, heel into your middle back, and roll down, and inhale, and exhale, and down. Each time coming up a little bit further, feeling your movement through your spine. Can you come into the bridge? So with the bridge, we want our pelvis to come up in line with the ribs. I'd like your knees to be in line with your hip sockets and your feet nice and flat. Okay, so what can commonly happen is the knees open and we go to the outside of our feet. Okay, if you've got tension here, that's quite common. So you want to try as best as you can to kind of feel that you've got your ball of your big toe down. And again, the pubic bone and your pelvic bone want to be level in your pubic bone and your sternum. So these are just little landmarks that can help you to observe yourself within your movement. So here I want you now to take some breaths in. And then I want you to just let your left hip go down. Your right hip stays up. You're dropping this down. Then you're going to lift that left one up. You lower the right and lift. Lower the left and lift. Lower the right and lift. Lower the left and lift. Lower the right and lift. Lower the left. Roll down that left side of your spine. When you're down, lay your right side down and then come back up through the middle. Lower your right side, roll down your right side, left side down, and then roll up through the middle. The left side, roll down, the right side down, and roll up through the middle. Lower the right, roll down, lower the left, and come up. And then when you're here, I want you to see if you can keep this all level, but then move into the space at the side of your body. Then come center, move into the space on the other side, and center, side, and center, side, and center, side, center. Now, when you do this, can you start to snake your body down towards your mat, lowering it as you eventually find the mat. Hands come back to your sides. Breathe in and out to rotate your pelvis back and come back into the bridge. And then just bring your hands over your chest. If this makes it really difficult and we're not able to maintain that position, so your hips drop down, then just use your hands to gently press down onto the floor to help you to establish and maintain this alignment. Okay, so that becomes more important than whether your arms are up here. So when your arms are here, I want you to just, again, take in some breath. And then we're going to squeeze your knees together and then bring them back to parallel. We squeeze them together and then open. And in and open. And in and open. In and open. Squeeze and open, squeeze, and center. Pull the front of your feet up towards your shins. And then place them back down. Do that again. Pull them up. And place them down. Pull the feet upwards. And place them down. Pull them up and down. Then I want you to take your hands behind you and then roll your spine down from your upper into your middle, into your lower, and then the tail. And then as your arms come forward, so they come over your shoulders, then as they come forward from there, you're going to curl your spine and look towards your navel. Your hands come down and you lay your head back down. Just check the position of your head. So we haven't finished here. We've got this long neck and soft sternum, relaxed jaw. Find your feet. Can you spread your toes and then move your pelvis back? Peel your spine up vertebrae by vertebrae until you're in your bridge. And again, just let the arms come over your heart. And this time we're going to open the arms out. Just feel the sense of width across your chest and then bring them back in. Open the arms out and bring them in. Just notice what's happening in your legs. So are your feet flat? Are your knees in line with your hip socket? Are you able to breathe? And then the arms stay over the chest. And we're going to reach them back again with the arms back. We're going to soften down, bringing our spine down, lengthening the tailbone away as you find center. Then the arms come up, and as they come above your heart, you then start to lift your head as you curl forward. Then lower the arms and your head. So let's bring our feet together, knees together, and cross your right leg over your left, hugging your knees. Open your arms out to the side. And then I want you to your aim is to just keep your shoulders down or your shoulder blades down on the floor as best as you can as you move your lower limbs to one side. So the knees go across and you guide yourself across. But the question is, can you keep the opposite shoulder down and find that beautiful rotation? Then from your right side, you're going to roll back to the middle. And then your right side pulls you across to the right. And you go as far as you can whilst maintaining contact with the left shoulder. And then we want to draw this shoulder blade, try and get it back onto the floor. The ribs come back, waist, pelvis, thighs. The other side, if I go to the left, maybe look away and look down your right arm. And then draw your body back to center. Move to the right, look down your left arm, breathe in. And then roll into the left side, center. We're going to add in. So now I'm going to go to the left, but I want you to roll onto your left side. So I'm literally going to let my right shoulder come up so it comes above my left shoulder. I'm lying on my side. My left arm is in front. Now this arm from back here is going to come down. It's going to come past my hip, and I'm going to do a big circle with this arm, reaching in front, reaching overhead, lifting my ribs here. I want us to try and get this lovely space. Then, as your arm opens, rather than just trying to pull your arm back, which the shoulder might protest to, I want you to move your body. Let your ribs roll back. Then the arm will be able to finish its circle round back to the sides. We do it the other way. The knees move across, and then I roll onto my right side. The left arm comes down, forward. As it goes overhead, imagine someone is pulling your wrist and lengthening that side. Really, again, space in here. Then you roll back, get your ribs down, the back ribs down, and center. Repeat to the left. The knees go, then the pelvis, the arm follows. Reach forward, reach up, and circle to bring the ribs back down. Again, legs go to the right, roll to the right, circle the arm, breathing in as the arm comes overhead and circle round onto your back. And then you can uncross your legs and cross them the other way. Just organize yourself so you feel centered again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax your jaw, shoulders, sternum soft. Let the knees move to one side. Let the head just turn in the opposite direction, just to feel that nice rotation in your spine and that lovely opening through that side of your body. Then draw yourself back. Move your knees across and open that side of your body. And then draw it back center. And again, moving across, inhaling. And exhaling back. Inhaling across. And exhaling back. We're going to do circles. So we move our knees to the right. I roll onto my right shoulder. My left arm reaches down. It reaches forward, reaches overhead, and then circling round onto your back. Let the knees go to the left, roll to the left. Roll the arms forward, above you. Breathe in, find space through that right side. Circle round and center. One more each side. Move to the right and then circle the arm forward and up and round and soften. Last one to the left. Knees, pelvis, ribs, and the arm comes round. Then you reach and circle. Brilliant. Open and softening back to center. Uncross your legs. Good. Link your hands above you and take your hands at the back of your head. Bring your elbows around your head. So when we do this, it's like the elbows are being pulled to the ceiling. I'm then going to curl forward, letting my head sit in my hands. And then I roll back and open my elbows. Wrap around and curling forward, rolling down and opening out. Elbows up and curling forward, rolling back and opening out. Bring the elbows to your peripheral vision, and as you curl, slide one leg away. And then bend the knee and come back in. Curl and slide the left leg away. And I really want you to feel like your thigh bone is being pulled away from you, your back of your thigh coming down to the mat. Then soften, come center. Breathing out and curl your body forward. Breathing in and softening back. Breathing out and curl forward. Breathing in and back. Breathing out, curl forward. The other leg joins it. We really want to keep the pubic bone in the same level as the pelvis and the sternum. So we're not letting this happen. We're drawing in and up into the back of the body. Then I want you to bring your knees in, keeping your head lifted, curling as deep as you can, to then lay your head down. Curl up and send your left leg out first, then the right leg follows, then both legs pull in and the head goes down. And one leg slides, the other leg slides, and then both legs fall and the head down. One leg slides, the head comes up, the other leg slides, both legs fall as you deepen, head and shoulders come down. So then I want you to take your left hand to the side of you and you're going to come across the body. So I'm going to lift, I'm kind of rolling onto my left shoulder blade. My left palm turns up and then I come back center. I curl across and center. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Then you can bring your thigh in to meet the elbow. So as I come across, I bring this knee in and down and in and down. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing, breathing in. Final add-on, breathing out, stretch your leg, then deepen as it comes in and then down. Curling up, reach away and across and down and across and reach and across and down. One more. And across and reach and across and down. All of that on the other side. Left hand behind the head, right hand at the side. You start with the palm down on that right hand. And then you're just going to bring you're going to peel your left shoulder blade off the mat and roll onto your right shoulder blade. And as you do that, your right palm will turn up and then come down. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. One more, breathe out and in. Add the knee. So as I come across, my right thigh comes in. Try not to let the knee go outwards. This thigh comes in towards the elbow. Then coming down. Again, rotating and low. And exhaling and low. One more time. Exhaling and inhale. Now add the leg extending. So we curl across, then we reach the leg. As the leg comes back in, I go deeper, then come down. Breathing out, reach away, breathing out, and bring it in. Exhale, reach it out, exhale, and bring it down. and across, and reach, and across, and down. Brilliant. Let's just turn onto our sides. Just put my hair back up. And we're just going to do a little bit of work for the support of the pelvis, the sides of our pelvis. So for that, we're going to need to come into side lying with your arm underneath your head and your knees in front of you, 90 degrees. And again, same kind of principle that is the same when you're on your back, but you want those landmarks of two pelvic bones and your pubic bone aligned. You don't want to be lifting your pubic bone in front of your hip bones. It's a really common thing when we start to sort of change position, our patterns can come up again. So a quick check-in with your alignment, that your pelvis is centered and stacked, you're not leaning backwards, and you're able to support the head. So sometimes it's nice to have the elbow in this position, or you can have a cushion under your head as well. So just making yourself comfortable there, and this keeping the shoulder down. Yeah, so we don't want this to come up here. Keep that shoulder down. Your waistline needs to be nice and long. So again, when we're lying in this position, gravity can kind of let us just slump here. And what I want you to do is just make sure that this pelvic bone is moving away, so that both this side of your waistline between your rib and your pelvis is the same length as the one underneath. Yeah, it hasn't got shorter. Yep, we want this one and this curve to feel more even. And for some, that can be really difficult depending on like your pattern. So if you're, that may be difficult, and it may be really difficult to maintain. So you want to imagine you've got like a piece of paper underneath this waistband to just support that side of your body. Again, the jaw needs to be relaxed, the shoulder needs to be relaxed. And we're going to do a really simple lift of that top leg. And when we lift the top leg, we're not rolling the pelvis back. Good. And again, so we're just going to lift the leg up and place it down. We lift it up and down. Lift it up and down. Lift it up and down. Now, sometimes the feet, I get questioned, do I point, do I flex? Okay, it's not overly important, but if you find that you're rigid in any of those positions, just try and soften your foot so that it's not fixed. Yeah, so we don't want it to be tense. And lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift. Just check the waistline hasn't collapsed. And again, now hold the leg up there and give me some pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then bring the leg down and lift it up and down and up, down and up, down. Hold it up this time, and then bring your knee towards the bottom knee, lift it up, and then tap your toe onto your other toe. So then the knee comes to the knee, then the toe goes to the toe. So this thigh at this hip socket is turning in and turning out, turning in and turning out, turn in and out, and in and out, and in and out. Last one, and out. Then we're going to turn it in. You're going to tap for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then open the knee. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the leg down. Great job. So you may be feeling, or hopefully feeling, some work and in this outside part, the back of the hip, the side of the hip, all those muscles that help us to support the hip movement, as well as stabilizing that pelvis so we can do it more efficiently. So let's take hold of the right foot as you're lying on your side. And if you can, just bring the knee underneath the hip so it comes back. Doesn't have to go too far back. Yeah, it's really just to the point that you can feel a stretch. And if that stretch is happening with the knee forward, then that's okay. But I do want you to move to the point that you feel that the front of your hip and down the front of that thigh, you'll feel a stretch. You can push your hand and your foot, top of your foot against each other. That will increase that feel. Make sure you're breathing. And then just straighten that leg away and let the leg rest down. Good. All of that on the other side. So if you spin yourself around, and don't be surprised if one side of your pelvis feels weaker than the other or more difficult to control the movement. Okay, it's really interesting to acknowledge differences. We're not built symmetrical, so we don't use our bodies in daily life in the symmetrical way. So please, you need to expect to feel some differences in how your body feels, and it's just noticing them which really helps you connect with your body to help to improve the areas that you might highlight as something that you'd like to change. So we're going to think about our alignment again. So we've got those landmarks, we've got our sternum and our pubic bone and our hip bones or pelvic bones. We don't want our bottoms to be tucked under. Okay, so you've got a curve in your neck. We also would like to observe a curve in the lower back. Okay, so head is supported. And again, think of the waistline. This top one, this pelvic bone needs to move away so that I'm not collapsing into this side of my body, which is really, really easy to do when we have gravity coming down. We kind of just go flop. Okay, but we want to resist gravity and maintain our alignment so we can get optimum work out of this area. So we're going to lift that leg up and down. When that leg lifts, I want to keep my pelvis still and move in my hip socket. Very similar to what we did on our backs, that dissociation, lifting and lowering. Again, we want to stay relaxed in the jaw, soft in the sternum. So we don't want to be pushing forwards here or gripping with our backs. Lifting, lowering. Sometimes it's nice to have this hand here. For me, I like that. It gives me a bit of feedback so that I'm not dropping this hip up to my rib cage. And 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and then you're going to hold it and just to the highest point that you feel you can, and then pulse up a little bit from there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then bring it down, and then and down, and up, and down, and lift, and lower, and lift, and lower, and hold, knee to knee, toe to toe, 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 and knee, and toe and knee and toe. Then the knee, and you're going to pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Open 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the leg down. Good. And you can just tap around that area if you feel that that's had, done some good work in and around the back of that hip socket and those glutes. And then we're going to send our left hand is going to hold onto the top of the foot, and we're going to let that knee come back. What can happen here is if you're trying to get that knee back, you might just throw your ribs forward so that if we get more compression in the lower back rather than opening in the hip. So just observe your sternum. When the leg goes back, we don't want the ribs to come forward. Okay, so it's just being aware of what that does to your alignment. So you only go as far as you can without changing the alignment of your rib cage. And then you can just pause there and breathe. Pushing the foot and the hand against each other, maybe going a little bit further back if you feel the stretch, just easing off. And then just stretch the leg out and let the leg come down. Good. So coming up onto your hands and knees to finish the session with a nice spinal curl and extension, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to round the spine up, lifting your ribs up, looking to your tummy. And then you're going to soften and come forwards with your heart. And then curl, lifting the ribs and soften forwards, breathing in. Breathing out, curling up, and breathing in and forward. Curling up, and then round your spine. And then I'd like you to just sit back onto your heels and let your body soften. If the knees aren't happy here, then obviously you can come more forward, or you can just lay on your tummy or just wherever your body feels most comfortable, just to finish in stillness. Deep breath in